What if I told you that for each of your favorite business YouTubers, there was one man behind the scenes telling them exactly what to say to make sure that their viewers enjoy the video? Meet Brian Ng, the YouTube scriptwriter who's worked with clients like Davey Fogarty, vidIQ, and Hype Fury, and scaled his business to over $30,000 per month in revenue in just under 3 months. And he did all that while being in the military and having a full-time job at another agency. In this video, I got the chance to talk to Brian about how he gets so much work done, how he scaled so quickly with such big clients in just 3 months, and how he plans to 10x his business in the next 12 months. All right, we've got a huge video today. We've got the man, Brian NG over here, is one of the premier YouTube script writing agencies in the space right now. Lucky enough to call him a friend, lucky enough to call him a client. And yeah, I really wanted to jump on today, not only to get some insights from Brian about YouTube, but also just to talk about the space as a whole and how he scaled his business so effectively. So I'll pass it over to Brian. Brian, do you want to introduce yourself, give us a bit of an insight into what you do, and also kind of just how you go about things, because I think you've got a pretty impressive story.
Yeah, so I'm Brian. I started my YouTube script writing agency in January. We scaled it from 0 to 30K a month in about 90 days. So I think that's pretty impressive. Well, like, I'm running a YouTube script writing agency, like one of the only ones out there. And yeah, we just write scripts for clients, and some of our client base is like Davey Fogarty, vidIQ, Instantly AI, Hype Fury, a couple big education companies. We mainly focus on the education side of YouTube.
Yeah, like it's a pretty sick client base, considering that you have only just sort of been starting up in the last 90 days. What do you think, obviously from about January when we first started sort of talking a bit more seriously about you running your agency, what do you think has been one of the main things that has allowed you to do that and get such a high class of client so quickly? Because obviously a lot of people start their agency, or they're running their agency, and they almost have to deal with those shitty clients so early. What do you think has been the main thing that's allowed you to do that? Sorry.
I think it's mainly doing the thing that that you're preaching or that you're doing for other clients. So for example, I run my own YouTube channel. So when I decided to start the agency in January, I launched it with my YouTube channel, and I was fortunate enough that the first video did really well and got like 14K views in the first 10 days, I want to say. So like that video went pretty viral, and just that one video alone got me many clients, because when like certain prospects would watch that video, like Davey, he'd watch that video and he's like, oh, I really like this video. They'd find me on my Twitter, and then they just DM me for work, right? So just having my own YouTube videos, and as like a proof of concept, is like, okay, I'm not just talking about, you should do X, Y, Z. I'm actually doing it and actively showing that, okay, I know how to script the video. Yeah. My own videos have gone viral, and let me script your other videos. So that way, people would just come to me for work rather than just me having to approach them. It's a lot easier that way.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely it's a big difference in the frame of kind of how you approach the entire client relationship for people who go the full I just do cold email, or even the full I just do paid ads. Kind of you have to have the mechanism. You have to use the mechanism to get clients for yourself. Otherwise, it's kind of like the trust level is just completely different.
Yeah,
that's good. So let's cast your mind back to sort of January. What was going through your mind when, obviously, I think I'll let you talk about it a bit, but you're working in another agency, you're sort of not sure what direction you're going to go in. Can you tell me a bit about what was the decision-making process like, and what gave you the confidence to take the leap and start, just jumping in?
Yeah, so before that, I was running a Twitter ghostwriting agency. So I came onto like the online space in like December 2022. So I ran a Twitter ghostwriting agency until like August. And then at that point, I realized, okay, I didn't really like, writing other people's tweets. The Twitter space I didn't find it very fulfilling. So from then I transitioned to YouTube script writing. So I was just working under another agency. I was writing their scripts, and I basically went ghost on Twitter. I like posted consistently on Twitter from like December to August. But I went ghost. I just sat down and I just wrote scripts. I wrote like 300 scripts in like 4 months, just to like really hone in on the skill. Right. And then in January, that was when I was like, okay, I think I've got the confidence to actually put out my own videos. Yeah. I know what I'm talking about. I've, put my head down and actually tried learning the space. So I was like, okay, I think I have some authority. I think I have something to say about the space right now. So I'm going to go public with it. And during then it was like, okay, like for my video edits, I pay like $1,000 a video. There was like no revenue coming in from it. But I knew that, okay, like I have the skills. I'm going to make it work no matter what, right? So even if I just burn 6 months on like producing videos, like on like, you know, money being thrown at videos to put out videos for my own channel. Even if it didn't go viral, I was skilled enough that, okay, I would eventually make an ROI on those videos. So I think it's like having the personal belief that eventually it'll work. You know, if it doesn't work now, it's going to work in 6 months. If it doesn't work in 6 months, it's going to work in the next 2 years. It's like, okay, like I'm in it. I'm going to make YouTube videos because I'm going to do it for the next foreseeable future, you know?
Yeah, that's ballsy. So I think we kind of have to back that up, because you just said, oh, well, what I did was I simply wrote 300 scripts in a couple of months. And that's not exactly, you know, it's not exactly something that people do all the time. Right. And I'm a big believer that you earn that confidence. So when you're saying now, like, yeah, of course I was throwing $1,000 at a video. Of course I was doing all this stuff. And of course I was, you know, had that success. It took the work to build yourself up internally, and then obviously externally you go and make your videos and they pop straight away. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. But if you go into that phase of when you were doing those scripts, so you're making these 300 scripts in just a couple of months, you're getting really, really good. What does that process look like for you? Because I think that's something personally, I think with a lot of agencies, is that when you don't master a skill to the extent that you need to, then they start their agency, they have to train people, they have to do service delivery, they have to do all of these different things. And they kind of get hamstrung, because like, how am I going to teach someone else how to do this thing so I can scale if I don't know how to do it? I haven't mastered it. So how did you learn that so quickly, and what kept you focused during that time? I think that's a really important thing to touch on.
Yeah, that's like a really good question. But like when I just started YouTube script writing, like back then, it was like August. I was still in the military, so I served the military for like 2 years, right? So like practically it was like a 9 to 5. I was fortunate enough that, you know, it wasn't insanely busy to the point that, okay, I had to like stay in the military bunk and I couldn't use my computer. I was fortunate enough that I could go home and work on like the scripts at night. So like during the day, I'd just be thinking, okay, you know, what I see from this video that I can apply into writing, like what certain angles that can I take for this certain video. So it's like really 24/7, pretty much I'd be thinking, how can I execute this video better? What's a different way to structure the video? What's a different way to write the hook, right? I'd be going through different variations of, okay, we have this title, how can I do a certain angle for the hook? So it's like really just thinking about it all the time, like helped a lot, right? And obviously when you're, you know, learning any new skill, like I was, you know, like the base was still writing, but like you had to learn the YouTube specific stuff. It's like you have to really be open to new knowledge, right? You have to be like, okay, like you have to accept, I probably don't know anything. Not that I still know anything. I probably know nothing right now, right? But it's like knowing that, okay, like I've just got to sit down, absorb as much information as I can, like a sponge, and then try to apply it ruthlessly. Like I think, you know, being at the stage where I was like in the military, and, you know, I was working under another agency, and I knew I wanted to start my own thing. That's like what really pushed me. It was like, okay, I got to develop this expertise in this field. I know that not many people can offer something like this. So if I actually get really good and put in the volume that I know no one else can claim that they wrote 200 scripts in 4 months. And I know that if I just put in the volume that, okay, like I'm going to dominate this market, right? I'm going to be one of the best. I'm going to work with the best clients eventually, right? So it's like, give me some time and I'm going to do it. And I'm fortunate enough to be, you know, moving towards that direction right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty sick stories, right? In the military, it's not even just writing 300 scripts in 4 months. It's doing 300 scripts in 4 months while you've got a full-time job in the military and another job basically at another agency. So that's a lot of time. How do you go about managing your time in that focus? Because let's say you have a full day at the military. What time do you get home?
Get home at like 6.
So you get home at 6.
Yeah.
What do you do? Shower? Do you lift weights or something? Then you
shower,
eat, and then what? So you got how long, and how do you fit all that work into that amount of time?
Yeah, but like a lot of the writing is like, okay, like I'll be thinking about it at work, right? Sometimes when I have available time on my phone, I'd actually be like writing scripts on my phone, like writing full scripts, and then I go home, I'd have Grammarly and everything, and I'd edit the scripts after. So it's like, yeah, so like I get home, you know, dinner, shower, gym if I can. Like sometimes that gets neglected because work, I think, comes first for me. And then you just write the scripts. Like sometimes, okay, by 11, if the script is not done, I have to get it done. There is certain deadline. There's like, okay, like there's this internal standard, right? It's like, okay, I have to meet the deadline. If I don't meet the deadline, you know, whoever I'm working for is going to come after my ass. And the next morning, I'm going to feel like complete shit because it's like, okay, I didn't get it done. There's like the thought where it's like, okay, I 100% have to get it done, not just for other people, but like for me, you know?
Okay, that's an interesting point to touch on, because I think for you, it sounds like you've kind of been that way your whole life, and I obviously know your background. I know how you were in school, getting like straight A pluses,
Right.
chess master for those. What this guy's a chess master. He's a top don at school, done everything, king in the military. But how do you think? Let's say you don't have that. Let's say you're just a regular person, well, not a regular person, but let's just say sometimes you can't focus or you can't get your work done fast enough. Because I know a lot of people, they sit down at their desk for however long, and then they get to the end of the day after feeling like they've worked 10 hours or they've sat at their desk for 10 hours and they haven't really achieved anything. So what do you think it is that installs that? Like, how would you, if you didn't have that, how would you go about, I don't want to say fixing it, but how would you go about sort of building something like that up?
That's a good question. I think it's like knowing that you need to put in a certain number of hours to actually get good at something. So there's the phrase like, 10 hours will get you like 80% of the knowledge, right? That's what I tell all of my writers right now. It's like, okay, 10 hours, you can learn a new niche. If you don't know Facebook ads, you can, you can spend 10 hours on it. You can watch tutorials. I'll give you guides. It's like, okay, you will get proficient enough to be able to write a script, or at least have a proficient conversation about it, right? So it's like, say the writer has, 20 niches to write, which is not atypical. You need to spend 10 hours times 20, right? And that way you'll be able to write proficiently for these 20 niches. And then you know that, okay, I need to put another 10 hours. So it's like knowing that, you need to put in a certain amount of work in order for something to work, right? Like,
yeah, so you're almost kind of just reverse engineering the goal. But I think what you're saying is, when there's something like learning a skill, it's like the goal is kind of learning the skill, and that's not really tangible. Whereas if you put an actual number on it, saying, if I just do this, I know I'm going to be pretty good. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, like you absolutely need to reverse engineer it. Because if you don't reverse engineer it, right, it seems like it's so far away, right? It's like, oh, it's like so difficult. But in reality, everything's kind of easy. But like the way that I like to think it is that the way that I like to think about it is that people would just throw fancy terms at you, right? Oh, like CPC, CPL, and all of these fancy terms, and like, the YouTube strategy will tell you, oh, thumbnail strategy, you got to use this outlier format, and it's a lot of fancy terms thrown at you. But it's like, if you really try to break something down to its like fundamentals, it's like, when you think about dropshipping, what it does, dropshipping seems like so broad, but if you really break it down, it's like product research, it's using AliExpress, it's building your Shopify store, it's running paid ads to it, and then it's scaling it up into an e-commerce, right? There's like the 5 broad branches to it. So like really with anything, it's breaking it down into simple steps. So there's 5 broad steps, and then you can break it down even further, and then you just master each piece one by one. And it sounds like a lot, but in reality, if you actually sit down to do it, like it doesn't take you that long. It's like the Pomodoro method, right? Where not a Pomodoro method. It's like, if you just allocate an hour to something, it'll only take you an hour, right? But if you allocate a week to it, say the script will take you a week. So it's like just knowing that, it's usually not that hard, but you have the internal resistance in you to learning something. So you actually just got to sit down and do it.
Yeah. It's always the worst when people are like, you kind of just have to sit down and do it. But I agree. I think it is kind of that way, where you just have to kind of almost break your limiting beliefs about work and how much work you can do. Because like you said, there's someone out there that's done this many scripts in this amount of time. Shit, if this, I'm sure a very smart young man has done it, maybe I can do it as well. And I think that would be sort of I think the lesson in there is that there's nothing really stopping you from just deciding that I'm going to compress the amount of time that something's going to take and then just doing it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much a tied knot on that. I want to kind of move on towards how you've actually sort of tactically gotten these clients. Because like I said, you've got a lot of great clients so far. And I want to tap into, obviously you've got the YouTube, you've got a couple of different methods that you've used. What do you think the best things that you've done have been in that short time frame to get that echelon of client?
I think it's a combination of a couple of stuff. So obviously having my YouTube helps, right? Having a couple thousand subscribers, showing people that I'm actually writing the scripts and that they're actually good, right? Whether it goes viral or not, that's like a separate thing. So it's the YouTube, number one. Twitter plus YouTube is a killer combo, I think, especially within the YouTube space, because knowing where my ideal customers are at. My ideal customers will be on Twitter, right? They'll be tweeting, right? Whether that's businesses or whether that's people within the YouTube space, YouTube strategists, YouTube agency owners. Those are usually, my clients or the people I can partner with. If I tweet, they'll see me, they'll DM me, and we get to connect, right? And then, the third is having a good network, having good partnerships. So these three, I think, work together really well, because on Twitter, I can just DM people, and I can, outreach them for partnerships, right? One of the things that I'm really big on is partnerships and referrals. So instead of, just going on the calls and quote unquote networking with people for like whatever reason, you actually outreach. I actually do outreach with intention of forming partnerships, right? Something that's potentially win-win. So for me, I do YouTube script writing. If I need help with, editors, right? Say my clients need editors, I will form partnerships with other editing agencies. It's like, okay, I can send you a client, and we'll do like a 10% referral. And if someone sends me a client, it'll be like a 10% referral. So it's like you just build like a good network. So eventually, when someone needs a script writer, right? I'm pretty much one of the only script writers out there who has put their name out there, has a good brand on Twitter, has a good brand on YouTube. So people will just send people my way. So it's like, so like organically, almost. It's like kind of like a hack, right? With referrals and partnerships, like, because like one good partner can easily send you 10 new clients, right? And that's X number of MRR. So
yeah, partnerships has been huge for us, especially with Matt as well, with his agency and inside 1000X Leads. It's obviously a big thing that we preach. Maybe not even enough, because it is something that is that good. If you can just get that one good partner, it might be 20 clients. Some people don't even have 20 clients. Some people have never even signed 20 clients from cold traffic in their whole career, even if they're a massive agency. So we have agencies that do 500K a month. They've never got a never got a client from cold traffic, or they've never actually generated and really gone out to get clients. They kind of just appear and they just fall from the sky. So just to break that down a bit, when you're doing this outreach to these potential partners, what does that look, obviously without revealing any of your scripts that you've used to success, what sort of ways do you go about it that has made it more successful for you that it might have been less successful for someone else? Because obviously you've got the results to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, when you're outreaching to someone that you want to form partners with, number one, you got to personalize it, right? So say, reaching out to like a TikTok agency will be different from reaching out to like a YouTube strategist, right? So number one, personalize it. Number two, the benefit to them has to be very clear and it has to be personalized, right? So like the benefit to, me partnering with a YouTube strategist or like with an editor will be that, okay, the video will perform better because there's a script, and, if the video performs better, they're more likely to work with you for a longer period of time. Right? Or if you're talking to like a TikTok, like the TikTok organic agency, let's say, like they have an additional channel, which is YouTube, that they, that will perform better, and the clients are also less likely to churn. They'll maybe pay you more in the future. So it's like having the personalization, number one, and having it benefit and making it very clear what the benefit is to them. Like I would say that's like the two main parts when you're like doing partnerships.
Yeah, clean. That makes a lot of sense. That's perfect. That's perfect textbook answer about the partnerships. That makes a ton of sense to me. I guess the question for me at this point would be, obviously you've gone 0 to 30K a month in about 90 days. Yeah. Great brand on Twitter, great brand on YouTube. The world's your oyster, pretty much, because with that work ethic, how you're going, there's no reason that you can't, we can't be having another conversation in 6 to 12 months.
I hope so, yeah.
At 10X even. So I guess what is the plan for you now to go from 30 to 100, maybe 200, 300K a month moving forward?
Yeah, so obviously my main channels for client acquisition right now is Twitter, YouTube, and partnerships. And this has been working really well. And one of the things that I learned from you is like, okay, first you want to figure out what you can do better, right? It's better.
More, better, new, yeah.
Yeah, it's more, better, and new, right? So right now, I don't think I'm posting enough YouTube, so we can do more, right? And then after I'm posting more YouTube, I want to figure out how I can make my videos better, right? Right now, I feel my videos are a little more fast-paced. Maybe we can slow the pace down, right? I want to test what works and, what could potentially attract more customers with, different style of YouTube videos, right? We're seeing like a huge shift in the YouTube landscape. And so it's like more, better, new. And afterwards, if those first two don't work, then we try out new channels. But right now, Twitter, YouTube partnerships are working really well. So I want to really, double down, triple down on what's working right now, rather than, try to chase the new thing.
Yeah, that would be my advice. If I was to give you one bit of advice, I'd be like, mate, what are you doing? You got to go 10 times hard. It's time to go hard. And this is a great offer, honestly. YouTube script writing is the exact vessel or the exact vehicle that I would want to be in as an agency owner. If I wasn't obviously doing 1,000x leads, I think it is absolutely great. Because, for example, as much as I love selling something like Facebook ads or something like email marketing, there's no way you could get clients that are like the clients that you have with one of those offers, just because of kind of the market sentiment and how much of I don't want to say blue ocean, because it's not necessarily a blue ocean, the YouTube space, but just how in demand the YouTube stuff is right now. I would be going you got to be on 5 tweets a day. You got to be posting at least a couple times a week on YouTube. You got it in you 100%.
Yeah. Like, what I want to say about the offer is also the specific ICP, like the specific prospect is in so much pain because they really want to post YouTube. They know it is such a good channel, but they get to doing it and they can't script it, right? Yeah. They're like, oh, it takes me 5 hours to script it, and then I have to think about it for a week before I even script it. So like the specific customer is in so much pain. So that's why I feel, the market has for sure contributed, like the offer has contributed to the success to it.
100%, 100%. That's what I'm saying. You gotta go so hard.
Yeah, because actually,
what do you think the biggest bottleneck for you is at the moment?
Like right now, it's like really getting out of fulfillment. So like recently, I've built like a bigger team of writers. So like I'm just now getting out of fulfillment, and obviously, being stuck in fulfillment is pretty terrible. That's something that I know. That's something that you talk about all the time. Is like, okay, you can't be caught in the agency rat race. Like past month or so, I've been kind of in that. But right now I'm gonna have more time freed up to do YouTube. But like that's also like a limiting belief. That's like that I don't really have enough time. So like that's also like a personal thing. So like that's something that I've got to work through. Yeah. You gotta get those work forms. I think one of the biggest and most actionable things that literally every business owner, employee, team member, anything, student must do is before they do anything else in the morning, just block out 3 to 5 hours. The world's not gonna explode, and just do those 2 to 3 things that move the business forward. It's the most cliche thing that everyone says that literally no one does. Yeah.
And the way no one does it is because every time I talk to an agency owner, literally every single one, it's very, 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 very rare that someone does their marketing and they move the needle on the business. And I literally almost hate saying, oh, you have to work on the business. It's the most cliche thing ever. I hate it. Yeah. There's probably not even that much stuff you have to do, which is what you end up finding. Sometimes you can do it in 3 hours. Like for yourself, let's say most of your channels are YouTube and Twitter and partnerships. You can write 5 tweets. You can make a YouTube video, and you can do 60 minutes of outbound for partners. That might only take you 3 hours if you're posting 3 videos a week. Yeah. Just do a couple hours. And it's just one of those things like the atomic habits thing. It's like 1% per day equals, I don't know, what like a 37x per year.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it takes more of a mindset shift and a belief shift to be able to do that than any sort of, new skill. You don't really need a new skill to just block those hours.
Yeah.
So why aren't you doing it? That's the question.
Yeah,
what's on your back?
That's the big question, really. Like actually, just has to be done because like if I post like 2 tweets a day, and it's really effortless to post 2 tweets a day, so it's actually a pretty poor excuse for me to like not do it. Because like I used to write tweets for other people. Like I used to do that as a job.
This guy's a ghostwriter,
and now I'm not posting my own tweets. It's like I'll just post something once every 2 days. So definitely has to be done.
If this guy doesn't post tweets, it's over for him. It's over for him.
Call me out.
What's your Twitter at?
At Boomer Brian with 2 R's. Boomer, like an old guy. Boomer with 2 R's. Brian. Yeah.
If Boomer Brian hasn't posted 14 tweets in the next week, I don't know. We got to do some type of forfeit or something. We got to be giving a free YouTube script to someone in the comments.
Free YouTube script. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the comments.
We should be doing that anyway. Should be doing those lead magnets.
I do.
That free trial of lead magnet. Yeah. That's your lead magnet.
Yeah. For like cold email. Cold email, like right now also, like DMs to qualify people will be like a free script.
Oh yeah?
If you want a free script,
this guy.
Drop me a DM.
How's it going? Is the outbound doing well?
The outbound's doing okay. I think like the messaging needs to be tweaked a bit, but like, Yeah, like right now we're mainly doing outbound to like crypto guys.
Yep.
So like the crypto market's really hot. You know, supposedly the thesis that Bitcoin's gonna go crazy.
Oh yeah,
So
always is.
yeah, like that's what everyone's saying. But like more so like in the past year. So like that's the main guys that we're targeting. I have good experience in that. You know, I used to trade crypto in my free time. So like I'm pretty experienced in that niche. So it's like, okay, I know that I can write a really good script. I know the ins and out of that specific niche. So like we're just going for that right now.
Beautiful. How many clients have you signed from outbound?
Like 2, and I've only been running outbound for like the past 3-4 weeks.
That's not bad at all. A lot of people kind of shooting blanks, for want of a better word, with their outbound. So that's pretty good. So it must be, you know, I'm a big proponent of that free trial, especially on outbound, because when they don't ask to be reached out to, or when my lovely YouTube video viewers don't ask to be pitched a free script, it's much better to say, hey, have this thing that's super valuable that you almost can't say no to. It's literally free service compared to, you know, sign up for my $5K a month, whatever my service is, and I'm going to lock you in for 6 months. It's like the amount of friction it takes is so different, and your take rate on that is so big. And really the only reason that you wouldn't be able to convert someone off a free script is either they really, really don't need it, which you could close them later, or if your free script sucks. And that's kind of a bigger issue, but hopefully we don't have to hit that. But yeah, that makes sense. The one last question that I'll leave you with is probably going to be a little bit of a shameless plug, because I know a lot of our clients do get questions. How has 1000x leads been? Did you learn anything? Why is this ugly guy Leo talking shit all the time on my YouTube? I want to stop this. Why is Matthew Larson got another Miro board that I don't want to look at? I'm sick of looking at these Miro boards. Yeah. What are these guys all about? So that'd be the last question. If there was someone asking you, someone DM'd you right now, the exact question I just said, what would you say?
Man, I actually get a lot of DMs because like my review, like my 5-star review is on the Trustpilot, right? Yeah. So I get a ton of DMs from school on Twitter. And I always say, like, if there's one guy to trust, it's like Leo. Because I thought I was the first customer to 1000x. Turns out I was the second. I got scammed here. So like, I was like the literal second customer when Leo said that, okay, I'm going to be launching 1000x. This is the funnel. I was like, I got to build something like that, right? Because like that's literally everything that you need in order to succeed as a service-based business, as an agency, right? Because it's literally, you know, building out the channels, building out the partnerships, building out the cold outbound, and you know, it's very clear what you actually have to do day by day. And I think that it's a literal no-brainer to join. Like hard pitch, but
actually, shit, this guy's a paid actor.
Yeah, actually paid actor, but like actual hard pitch. It was actually a no-brainer to like join as like the second customer. They didn't even have their Slack up, and I joined. So that and obviously I've benefited, you know, hugely from talking to you personally, talking to Matt, you know, working closely with you guys. So yeah.
No, I appreciate it. That's huge. You know, it means a lot. It's great to see when someone scales up so well, when someone works so hard for their business and for their clients. For us, it's almost easy because you already have so much skill leverage. You've already got this ability to write scripts. So with us, it's kind of like, well, we just need to say, hey, instead of just waiting for partnership, hey, just go get a partnership, and hey, go do this one thing. And it's just that little tweak can be the difference between signing 10 to 20K MRR per month, which is kind of like the rate that you're at. Or, you know, like I said, a lot of people run their outbound, can't really find success. And they're just kind of doing they just need a little bit of tweaks. But I guess if you could say there was one actionable thing that you've learned from inside 1000x leads that other people should hear, just straight value, what do you think that thing would be?
Straight value, I would say it's to like set standards for yourself, right? It's knowing that, okay, each day non-negotiable, right? Even if it's like I have to drink 3 liters of water, right? Something as simple as that. But like, or like, oh, I need to get X number of hours of work done. Because like since I came to Melbourne, I'm from Singapore, and I came to Melbourne like a couple like 2 weeks ago, like, and just seeing you work, and it's like, okay, actually you just need 5 hours of work done, and you can move the needle for the business so much, right? You guys are launching different products. You know, you guys have a newsletter out every single day, post multiple times on YouTube, post multiple times on Twitter. It's like, okay, actually, if you sit down, you get the work done, and you set the standard for yourself that, okay, I need to get X amount of work done, I need to get these tasks done, then there's just no way that the business won't grow. You know, it's like just a set number of steps that you have to get done. So yeah, is that actionable? I hope.
Yeah, I think it is. I would agree, and I think the thing is, it's not revolutionary.
Yeah,
it's just you sit down at the end of the day before, you write down, if I just did these things, and it's going to be 2 to 3 things. And for us, it is, hey, if I have a really good newsletter, if I have a really sweet product, if I spend 2 hours on the product every single day, or even more, and if I post really good content, there's almost no way that it could mess up. You know what I mean? And it's the same with almost every business is that way, where it's like, if it's you, it's like, hey, if I just do my YouTube, I do my tweets, I do my newsletter, if I do this stuff, I'm going to have that inflow. If I get these partners, there's no way that you run out of leads, because you're just planting the seeds every day and nurturing those seeds. And I think where you really do get screwed is when, number one, you have no strategy because your time's just going everywhere other than where it should be, because you're almost in that fight or flight mode, which you see a lot. And then you kind of just get stuck in client fulfillment. And I say stuck, but really it's kind of just a lack of leverage. Because, for example, yourself, obviously what you're focusing on now is having a really good employee training, having really good recruiting, and having really good systems, and the operating system that I think Renee's installing. All of those things are going to be the things that allow you to not really remove yourself from client fulfillment, but give yourself more leverage so you can put all of this other energy into other places. But yeah, man, I'm really excited to see you scale. It's been great to work with you so far. Yep. And yeah, hopefully we're back here in 12 months and you're way beyond 100K a month, because I think that's very possible for someone like yourself. So appreciate the time and
easy work.
Yeah, easy work.
Yeah.
Until next time, brother.